all the best plans throughout history have contingencies. For example, George Washington crossed the Delaware in order to sneak attack British soldiers, and obviously his backup plan was. Oh, okay. Well, the Trojan horse, their plan was to put everybody get inside a horse, and they went all the way to sneak out of the horse and then wipe out their enemies, and their backup plan was um well, Harden has a great backup plan. Hello, Internet. I am the hero of Julios once again with another One Piece chapter summary. This week's chapter is chapter 1191. They're still Loki. And our art this week is Soul Never Ages. It is just a tribute to soul music in general. You got everyone with colorful afros, and Brook is obviously a very large, prominent part of this artwork. You got some animals on it. It's just a nice art piece. So, the chapter itself starts off pretty bad, actually. Luffy knows for a fact, acknowledges out loud to himself, I can't power down. I cannot change back, because if I do, this form is necessary to survival at this point. I think Luffy is harnessing the power of imagination. Luffy uses Toon Force, and Luffy is the kind of guy that learns from his opponents and uses that ability against them. Luffy is running off the logic right now of, if I just tell my body to heal, my body will heal. So as Luffy's trying to do this, he gets up and he looks over at Gaban and he goes, oh, old man, I'm sorry about your arm. And Gaban goes, he wouldn't have done that with his left arm. He would go, because he only has his right arm left. He goes, it's not your fault, Straw Hat. In fact, I've actually completely given up on you. You clearly are not capable of beating this guy, so I'm actually just defending Elbaf. This has nothing to do with you. Live, die, I don't care. I'm gonna fight this guy. And Luffy's like, what are you talking about? I'm gonna fight this guy. And Gaban's like, you're dying. Granted, I am too, but I'm old. I have an excuse. What's yours? So, yeah, Luffy finally asks the question, who the heck is this guy? And Gaban tells him, honestly, the only interpretation he has. Of all the creatures in the world, this one is the one you could probably call God. Yeah, I mean, if you look at all the crazy things Emu can do, all the crazy powers he can grant, personally, I'd call him the devil more than I'd call him God, based on the powers he's giving out. But he's calling himself God, so sure, let's give him that title. Ain't the first guy that's used it. Look at NL, and look how well that worked out for him. So, yeah, go ahead. Keep using that title. See how it works out for you. We then cut to Emu, who, remember, him and Gaban had an exchange of blows, and both took damage. Well, Emu a lot less than Gaban. But Emu's laying there on the mountain, down in the underworld, and some of the wild animals come to eat him, automatically knocked out by whatever dark hockey he has, and he's kind of laying there, and he goes, okay, so that was a member of the Pirate King's crew. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, okay. You know what? That's on me. That's on Moo. That's Moo's mistake. Moo should not have let all those children go, because remember, when you're over 800 years old, everybody is a child to you. I should not have let those children go all those years ago. Because remember, in God Valley, what Emu did was he, Dami reversied Rocks, and he said, okay, Rocks, decimate my enemies. I'm going to go grab a beer. And then Emu just kind of left. That was his mistake. Because it created Roger and Garp and Dragon and Kuma and Linlin and Kaido and just all these insane people that he really could have done something about 40 years ago, but didn't. So as he's laying there regretting this decision, he goes, okay, no more Mr. Nice Guy. No more holding back. And he gains a bigger brow, and his horns extend, and we see a little bit later that he has this much buffer, much larger demonic form. A friend of mine akin it to Frieza powering up, which makes sense because, Oda was inspired by Dragon Ball. So having Frieza powering up like that, and now Emu is powering up with the extra horns and the muscles, and It's a pretty good analogy at this point. Meanwhile, down in the library, it turns out, yes, Biblo, seeing the fire, swooped around, grabbed all the books he could, and put them in the secret basement. Well, Chopper and Robin and Saul have gone down there, and Chopper's like, oh my gosh, that's so good, all the books are saved. And Saul's like, yes, that's great, Chopper. Okay, Biblo, we brought you the one guy who speaks animal. And Biblo looks at Chopper, and Chopper goes, oh, I thought he was a silent owl. And Biblo goes, hoo, 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 hoo. And that's all we get, because Chopper just goes, huh? Again, same friend who actually talked to me about the Frieza transformation. He said, what if Chopper doesn't speak bird? And then I remembered Chopper helped translate between the Toriko Kingdom and the people who lived down below. So the birds and the people and the medicine men and all that. So fortunately, that's probably not the issue. But it would be kind of a funny punchline if Chopper was just like, this guy speaks in like old animal. I speak new animal. So yeah, I don't know what to do. Most likely, we're gonna get a lore dump, probably about the Void Century. It depends on how old Biblo is. We know he's old, but we don't know how old. And that's the part that I'm very interested in. So, with Emu's new form, obviously, the next step is to go snuff out those flames that are currently burning down his garden. So he lunges himself towards Gaban and Luffy. He's coming at it with all he's got. Gaban stands between him and Luffy, and he says, I'm impressed you survived that attack, Emu. Well, he doesn't call him Emu, because I don't actually think they've ever formally introduced himself. Emu. I don't think Emu ever actually said, hi, I'm Emu. But Gaban says, I give you a round of applause for surviving, but my arm's over there. But as Emu's coming in, Haruden shows up with his Gungnir. I believe that's how the attack is pronounced. For those of you who remember, this is the attack he used to counter Mach-Vice, as Mach-Vice was coming down at him at 10,000 tons. This is the same punch that sent a 10,000-pound man flying into the air. So yes, will Emu survive this attack? Of course. He's gotten crazy durability and endurance and all that. But does Emu weigh 10,000 tons? No. So this attack just launches Emu as far away as possible. He's just like, that is later's problem. And as Emu is flying away, Emu takes out the little omen bombs that he does, and he launches those towards Haruden, and Haruden takes out his shield, and he blocks those. Sadly, it's at the cost of his shield. It breaks in half, but he goes, no. That's not going to work a second time. Because remember, Emu blew him away earlier when he first appeared on the island. So, with that problem over there for a few minutes, he turns to Gaban and Luffy, and he's like, are you guys okay? Because you don't look okay. And Luffy goes, what are you talking about? I'm really okay. Watch, see, my body's healing because I told it to. And Gaban's like, for the 12th time, kid, that's not how that works. And Luffy's like, what are you talking about? I'm fully healed. Actually, I'm great. So, Haruden, let's do this. And Gaban says, no, new plan. Haruden, scoop up Straw Hat Luffy and exit Elbaf, because that guy is going to end everything here. You need to create a contingency plan. And Haruden says, do not worry, Gaban. The mighty warriors of Elbaf are prepared to die in glorious combat. And Gaban goes, that's great, wonderful honor. You will die in this combat. Sure, gloriously or not, but you gotta think about the future here, buddy. And at that point, Haruden goes, oh, I have thought about the future. I have a contingency plan. There's always Loki. If anything happens to me, Loki will take over. To which he hears behind him, absolutely right, brother, I will also help you fight. That I am the contingency plan. And Haruden and Luffy are like, what? You're back? And so Haruden, Loki, Luffy, who is fully healed, according to Luffy, have all band together as Emu comes hurtling towards them once more. I will say earlier, Emu did launch a second attack, but Haruden kind of tanked that one. He flinched in pain, but it didn't hurt. It didn't blow him away like the last one did. So I don't know if maybe Emu might be getting tired. I'll talk more about that at the end of this. But the three of them get ready as Luffy launches Gum Gum, and the two of them prepare for Triple General. They call it Gokoku Sovereignty. So it is a new version of the Sovereignty series of attacks. We've got Big Mom launching it as a solo strike. You have Dorian Broggy, who launched it as a duo attack, and now you have three individuals using it as a triple attack. So it's getting stronger. I'm actually kind of wondering if Elbaf will end in all the giants just doing like Infinity Sovereignty or something like that, where they just blast Emu with the largest power of friendship and family hyper beam of honor. Like, that'd be kind of cool. So that is where the chapter comes to a close, as Gaban's watching this and he goes, what is with these three? Like, where are they getting this endurance? But as the chapter comes to a close, I want to bring up a point. Once again, same friend brought up this wonderful point of Killingham and Somers. So, as we collaboratively spoke about this, Emu is on a timer. And as such, at any point, Oda can end this fight without it being a Deus Ex Machina. For some people, they'll still call it that. Some people will say, oh man, Emu was about to win, but then, cough, cough, I can't stay in Elbaf, I have to leave, what a cop-out. Except, we know for a fact the second Emu landed, Emu said, crap, I'm on a clock. And his own servant said, Lord Emu, you shouldn't be here. Leaving the Holy Land is bad for you. So we know he's on a clock, but we don't know how long that clock is. But, my friend brought this up, the powers that he gives out to others, if something happens and that individual meets their end, like Harold, Emu takes a heavy amount of damage. We're talking damage so heavy that when the five elders said, we should send like 4 more Holy Knights to take out whatever took out Harold, Emu said, no, don't do that, because if something happens to those guys, I'm not going to be able to take it. If Emu was that afraid after losing one of his God's Knights, if one of his Holy Knights fell, what would happen to him if 2 fell? See, when Zoro ran into Somers told him, hey, nothing personal, but I have to do this like group project with my buddy Killingham, and I don't know where Gunko went, so it's just kind of me and Killingham at this point. But my guy went over to the school to like kidnap children and stuff. I'm gonna secure this boat, so if you could just not fight me, that'd be cool. And Zoro told him, your guy's going that way. That's a pity for you. My condolences. I'm so sorry for your loss. Naturally, Somers was like, what do you mean by that? And Zoro said, well, you see, my friend went over there. And because he's not in earshot, I'm going to compliment him now. Your friend is dead. Your friend is going to end. There will be no more of the... Killingham, you said? There will be no more of this Killingham guy because Sanji is over there. If Emu took a lot of damage losing Harold, imagine what will happen if Killingham and Somers both get defeated by the wings of the Pirate King. The only question I have on my mind is, will Oda have Sanji and Zoro kill guys on screen? I know, this is a strong contention of like, Luffy never kills his enemies because Luffy believes in, killing their dream is much more damaging than ending their lives. Zoro and Sanji, they've hurt people pretty badly. We've never had any confirmed deaths at the hands of Zoro and Sanji on screen. But Zoro has confirmed killed Mr. 7 of Baroque Works. So Zoro has at least an off-screen kill count of 1. One Piece is also a very realistic story in terms of like what happens to people, not in terms of its obvious cartoonish silliness. It's a manga. But this may be a huge moment for Zoro and Sanji. So, to you Zoro and Sanji fans who just can't get over arguing over who's better than who, and yes, congratulations Sanji fans, recently the top 100 poll came out, and Sanji was dubbed number 3. So congratulations, you guys. You actually beat the Nami fans, and now Zoro and Sanji are truly the wings of the Pirate King, both in the actual story and the views of the people. But let me know in the comments below, do you think that Emu is going to lose because Zoro and Sanji forced his time out? I think that is a strong possibility that I did not think about until very recently, thanks to my friend. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. This is the Hero of Julios, Xing out.